So we can reduce the coefficients. We can reduce these coefficients. Notice how pi just kept going in there the entire time. So when you simplify this fraction, if you want to do it the easy way and have your calculator do all the dirty work, then you need to only type in the coefficients. So I've got 400 divided by 360. When I type in that in my calculator, I get 1.1111111. And I need that to be changed into the most simplified improper fraction. So I hit the math button underneath the green alpha button. It takes me to the math menu. And I want that first option. I want to change it into a fraction. So all you got to do is just hit enter because it's already selected that first option. And then it shows up into your calculator and it says, turn answer into fraction. And then you press enter and voila. There is my coefficients, 10 divided by 9. You need to then go in and place pi in the numerator where it originally was. Because all you've done using the calculator is reduce these integers, reduce your coefficients. I want everyone to type this fraction into their calculator. So I really want you to type in 400 pi divided by 360. 400 pi divided by 360. Just so that we're all on the same page, what are we getting? 3.49065. Awesome. So we've got, if we type in this equation, truly 400 pi, using the symbol, because we need to use the symbol, divided by 360, then we get the rounded answer. We get 3.4906, blah, 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 blah. I now want you to attempt to turn that value into a fraction. So hit math, and then do enter, enter. What happens? So if you try that whole thing where, hey, take this decimal and turn it into a fraction, does it spit out a fraction? No, it spits out that same exact decimal. That's because once you have typed in pi, the calculator knows that that's an irrational number. It cannot be represented as a fraction. And so you can never go back to a fraction. This answer, 3.4906, blah, 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 it goes for infinity. It is an irrational number. You cannot represent irrational numbers as fractions. So your calculator does not have the capability of spitting this out. 10 pi divided by 9. There's other calculators out there that they have programmed it that it can do that. But these will not. So that's why you must only type in the coefficients. Just type in the integers. Write the integers down, and you need to add back in where pi is. Sometimes it's the numerator, sometimes it's the denominator where pi is. You just need to put it right back where it was. Is there any questions on how to get the rounded versus exact? And the exact needs to be in simplest terms. You need to reduce those fractions. Okay, well, just make sure we're on the same page. 3.49 is my rounded answer. So the length of this arc is exactly, in the box, 10 pi divided by 9 inches. It's about, wavy equal signs, it's about, approximation, 3.49 inches. Do not forget your units, just like in chemistry. Freshmen, you'll get there next year. But it's crazy important that you put your units. Any questions about finding the arc length? Okay, we also are going to look at parts of the area as well. We just looked at part of the circumference. We figured out that this part of the circumference is 10 pi divided by 9. Now we're going to start looking at, well, what is the area? What is the area that this central angle is taking up of the entire circle? Well, we just got done talking about how It was part over whole, whatever the measure of that arc is out of the whole 360, it's going to equal, and we just got done talking about arc length, how the arc length is going to be part of the whole circumference. And so we did whatever the measure of arc was out of the 360 degrees, and this was, we used the capital cursive L over the circumference. And if you want to write C there, you're more than welcome to, or you can just remember that circumference is 2 pi r. Because sometimes you're going to be searching for the radius. You're going to know the arc length. You're going to know the measure of the arc, and they're going to ask you what's the radius of this circle, if that's all true. Sometimes you're going to be given the arc length, you're going to be given the radius, and you're going to be searching for the measure of the arc. You're going to have one of these unknown. It's not always searching for the arc length. Okay, we're going to apply the same principle with the area. How do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. What's the area, the exact area of this circle? 16 pi inches squared. And what was that rounded when we got done? What was the rounded answer? 50.27. So the exact round. Awesome. Well, this central angle, we can find the area of it. Like if this circle, if this diagram was like a whole pizza, I want to know what the area is of this slice. So if I take a slice out, what's the area of that slice? This is called a sector. And so I'm going to use this S, because normally my S's are kind of horizontal. Like if I wrote, like, I don't know, speechless or something, like my S's are a little like kind of horizontal. I'm going to try, when we're finding sector area, to make it like more vertical and loopy. So a capital loopy S. This is going to stand for the area of a sector. Sector is spelled S-E-C-T-O-R. This S is going to stand for the area of a sector. And what we're finding is this. Find the area of the sector. That's what I'm searching for. Same thing. Part over whole equals part over whole. However, we're no longer talking about arc length and circumference, but we are talking about area of a sector, and that's part of the whole area of the circle. And what do we use to represent the area of a circle? What formula? Pi r squared. So let's find the area of this sector. My angle measurements, or sorry, my angle measurement. The measurement of this arc is 50 degrees out of the grand total 360. We are searching for the area of this sector, so that's my unknown, that's my variable. And we have that the whole area is 16 pi inches squared. I'm not going to mess with putting units in my proportion, so these are not necessary. We don't need them right now, but good habit to get into. What do I do now? Cross multiply. So I've got 360 times the area of my sector is equal to, what's my other product? 800 pi. We are not typing in pi yet. That's the very, 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 very last thing you will do is type pi into your calculator to get the rounded answer. Up until then, you just let it be. Just keep writing. What's my next step? Divide both sides of the equation by 360 degrees, and I get my unsimplified exact answer. This is my exact answer. This is the correct value, but we need to simplify 800 pi over 360. I'm not going to make you do this by hand and show your work and all that nonsense of dividing by 10 and then dividing by 2 and dividing by 2 and whatever and so on and so forth. Just let the calculator do this for you. Type in just the coefficients. To help myself remember that I need to only type in the coefficients, before I haven't even touched my calculator yet. Before I do this, I write the new fraction and I put wherever pi is. So it's in the numerator. I'm just going to put pi right there right now, so I know it needs to be there. Then I'll grab my calculator. I'm going to type in 800 divided by 360 degrees. I get 2.222 forever. Math. Enter, enter. And this reduces just the coefficients, just the integers, reduced down to 20 over 9. What's my units? Inches squared. This is area, this is square units, because it's 2 dimensions. So 2D, 2 dimensions, square unit. Volume is 3 dimensions, and so that's why it's like centimeters cubed raised to the third power. It's all about the number of dimensions. Okay, and then we can get a rounded answer for this. So squiggly line, squiggly equal sign. This is about what? 6.98. And I circle my rounded answer. 6.98 inches squared. Do not forget your units. You will lose points on the test or quiz if we're not going to put units. That's for arc measurements using degrees. That's for arc length using inches, centimeters, whatever that distance unit is. And then area in square units. Well, questions thus far about arc length and sector area? Okay. We'll take a little break, and then we're going to do some examples together, because we're not always going to be searching for the arc length and the area of the sector. So we're going to take a little break, and then we'll talk about